In 2025, I flew business class across the Atlantic, around the world and deep into Asia, on legacy airlines, alliance partners, and with a few surprises along the way. Some flights reminded me why I love aviation. Others reminded me why reputation alone means nothing. Welcome to the channel. I'm Anthony, and with over 20 years of business class flying and more than 1 million miles in the air, I've seen just about everything at 35,000 feet. Here at Doors to Automatic, I bring you in-depth, honest reviews of premium services from airlines around the globe. Love travel, aviation, or just chasing the thrill of the skies? Hit that subscribe button and come along for the ride. Over the past year, I flew business class on 11 airlines, including a full round-the-world itinerary. Most of the flights were reviewed at the time, but now, stepping back, patterns emerge. I'm comparing business class flights across 5 areas: seat comfort, food, service, ground experience, and overall value. This is about the complete experience, not just marketing. Let's start on the ground, because a relaxing environment before you board the flight is really important to me. 2 business class lounges stand out. Firstly, the Al Marjan lounge offered by Qatar Airways in Doha. It was vast with plenty of spaces to relax. There was a fantastic buffet selection. There was also a gym to while away part of a long layover. But there's no real contest for business class lounges. For me, the Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse at London Heathrow was by far the best lounge of the year. There were lots of different areas to relax, with waiter service food and drinks. Once on board a flight, one thing matters above all others: the seat. Virgin Atlantic's newer upper class suites on the A350 are comfortable and modern, but they've lost some of the character that once defined the product. For me, the winner has to be Qatar Airways Q Suite. Calm, private and consistently comfortable, even on ultra-long-haul flights. Catering has improved, but consistency is still rare. Virgin Atlantic deserve credit for better menus, even if presentation can still be hit and miss. But the winner on food has to be Qatar. Well-paced service, reliably good execution and genuinely premium dining. Before moving on to rank the top 5 business class experiences, let's turn to premium economy. I've had some good experiences here, with Delta Premium Select a good second place, a comfortable seat, a good meal, premium drinks in glassware and a nice snack. But for me, the premium experience has to be Virgin Atlantic. Again, a very comfortable seat, but catering that's a step up, with the ability to pre-select your preferred dish. And great service from the crew. The worst premium experience of the year has to go to BA, held on a hot air bridge for 10 minutes before boarding. The cabin didn't feel very premium. The food was okay, but with no choice available and poor presentation. And a paper cup. The service wasn't great. And now that point, like the Oscars, where we remember those who have left us behind. Or have they? Global Airlines gets a mention for making a splash back in May. Their second-hand A380 was a little tired, with no entertainment system. But the food and drinks were an improvement when I took their second flight. However, we've heard nothing from the carrier since, with the A380 sent to long-haul storage in France. And now, the flights that have failed to live up to expectations. It probably doesn't come as a surprise that American is on this list, with an uncomfortable seat, poor service and mediocre food. But a real disappointment was Sri Lankan Airlines long-haul business class, which felt badly out of step with modern standards. The seat was okay, but the cabin wasn't as clean as you'd expect. They promised a good entertainment system, but with much of it not operating on board. And the bedding was pretty flimsy. There's a link to my review on screen now. In Europe, we've become used to business class simply being an empty middle seat and, if you're lucky, a hot meal. But Cathay Pacific showed how things could be. a large, comfortable seat with seat-back entertainment screens and a multi-course meal service. I've got to give a huge thank you to the incredible supporters in the Doors to Automatic cabin crew. You're the ones that keep this channel flying. For just £4 a month, you get early access to reviews plus exclusive behind-the-scenes content you won't find anywhere else. If you want to jump on board and be part of the cabin crew, head over to Patreon and join us. And now, the final countdown. In 5th place, it's the old coffin seats of Virgin Atlantic. I flew this from London to Barbados in June. They aren't that bad, but the onboard service really does stand out. And there's a bar to socially while away the flight. In 4th place, it's Cathay Pacific's long-haul service. I flew this in August across the Pacific from Hong Kong to LA. The seat was what is now a standard business class layout, but the service was very efficient. In 3rd place is Qatar's other business class seat on the A380, a very similar seat to Cathay but with better bedding, and an outstanding meal service. Plus there was a bar lounge at the back of the cabin for a change of scenery on my long flight from London to Sydney back in January. The runner-up is another Virgin Atlantic experience, this time on their newest aircraft, the Airbus A330-900neo, again on a flight from London to Barbados, this time in November. A really comfortable seat and a closing door to provide privacy. Again, really good service and an improved food offering compared to previous years. There's a social space called the Loft, but it's more like a doctor's waiting room at 35,000 feet. That review is coming in January, so subscribe now so you don't miss out. So what's my best business class experience of the year? That accolade has to go to Qatar Airways and their Q Suite, which I flew from Doha to London in January. A very comfortable seat in a good sized suite with a closing door for privacy. Good wines and fine dining with caviar included in business class. From start to finish, the meal service felt like dining in a Mayfair restaurant. In 2025, the best business class flights weren't always the most expensive, but they were the most consistent. So which business class impressed you this year? Let me know in the comments. And what airlines do you want to see reviewed in 2026? Thanks for watching and Happy New Year!